Okay, we're back, and it's COMP1011, and it's lesson 2, part 2, and we're going to talk about inheritance a little bit more closely now with the PowerPoint presentation as our backdrop. However, we're not going to follow every slide, but we're going to look at them all, or as many as makes sense to look at. So one of the issues we had before the break we just had is how do I've got my lesson 2, but it's synced up to the wrong master, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back, and when I sync it up again, I'm going to make a change, a minor change to my project now. Here's my project Java, and in here I want to instantiate my hero for the first time. So I'm going to instantiate hero, right? And of course I'm going to call it, I'm going to make it of type hero. So it's going to be of type hero, and it's going to be called hero, which is equal to new hero. And the hero is going to have a name. We're going to call him Big Man, right? Why not? And Big Man is going to be auto-generated. As soon as we generate this guy, right, the hero is going to fight, right? He's going to fight. And the hero is after he fights, he's going to run, right? We're going to do that with him too. And after he fights and run, I want to display hero.display. Hey, wait a minute. How come I can't? Or maybe it's a show. Wait, how come I can't see my method? Well, because when we go back to our funky methods over here, right? And I've got my my public void show abilities. How come I can't see this thing? How come it's not available to me? I mean, I generated my hero class, and I want to be able to show my abilities. How come I can't access this method? Anybody? Should be able to, right? Because the class itself is a public class. There are a couple of issues, right? My constructor has to be public, or else I won't be able to do that. But I want to be able to show my abilities. My generated abilities happen as soon as I do my character, right? As soon as I create my character, or my hero, I'm generating his abilities right away, right? Because that's the first thing I take in his name, and the next thing I do is I generate his abilities. But where is this show abilities method? How come I can't access it? Let's take a look at that. So from a scope perspective, if I go show abilities, I start typing, now it's going to come up. It took a second. I'm going to save everything. And when I do such a thing, when I save, I generate a new reason for a commit, right? So here I'm going to go in and I'm going to go to team, and if I've set things up properly, I'm going to go to commit. And in my commit, I'm going to say instantiated new hero, right? And press commit. Okay, this is all good, but now what I need to do in my team is I want to do a push upstream, right? And when I do that, it's all good, and it says configure. Now this is where you change the stream. This is where I change my problem, right? See down here? I've updated it into lesson 1, but I want to put it into lesson 2. This is where the right place to put it is. So I go into configure, and now where it shows me my URI is lesson 1, I go back to GitHub, I grab my new URI, which is lesson 2, and put that in there. But for me to do that, I've got to press change. And once I change this, I update my new URI to this, and press save and push. Once I do that, it takes only my files that I want, right? It shouldn't take everything, hopefully not. And of course it did take everything. But if I look on my master, right, now I have both lesson 1 and lesson 2. So both lesson 1 and lesson 2 are on both repositories, right? Now if I want to delete, if I want to get rid of this from 1, right, I could certainly do that. I can go in there and revert, I go back, I can control it, and I can do that with my local repository, by going to my local repository, because that's where all the stuff is being changed and stuff. I also have my demo class, if you notice, that's been part of it too, right? I've got all that, it's all the same, right? And the reason for that is I never created a new repository for each of these classes. I haven't done that up until now, and that's the problem, right? So I fix it, and yet I don't fix it. But at least this way it's up in its own folder, right? Anyway, let's continue. So from now on, lesson 1 is not going to be updated anymore with stuff. It's lesson 2. Okay. So this is good. So I've got a couple things going on. And if I run it, I've got my, hey, look, here's my character, 67, 26, 46. My big man is running, right? The big man. And the big man is fighting, right? Hold on a second. The big man is, oh, he's not a big man. He no big man. He's a small man, right? This man has only got 5 strength out of 100, right?
He's got 92 health.
He's got 92 health somehow. He's like the healthiest, fattest man ever, right?
Bad.
He can't be hurt, man. There's the guy that's more average. So he got 45 strength, so pretty strong guy out of 100. He's pretty fast, and he's got good health, right? So this is my hero, right? Okay, cool. We want to create a villain of some kind. We want to create an enemy, right? How do I create an enemy off my hero? And this is without going through our PowerPoint presentations. Can anyone think of a way? I've kind of indicated a couple times how I do it. Can anyone think of a way of how to create a class based on another class? And it happens automatically in Eclipse. Eclipse does a nice job for it. Huh? We, of course, we use inheritance, but that's what the day is about, right? But I'm going to do another one. So I'm going to go to my default package or my source, right-click. I'm going to go New Class, right? And in here, look at what it says for superclass. My superclass is my lang object. I don't want that. I want to browse. I'm browsing, baby, right? And when I browse, I can choose anything that I have in my package. So I know that there's hero.java, right, in my package. Here's my default package. I'm going to type in hero up here. Let me go back and do that again so people can see it. I've got a new class. My name of the class is going to be villain. Well, villain is just like a turned hero, right? That's what I'm saying. So I'm going to go to browse, and up here where instead of accepting the standard superclass, here's my standard superclass, I'm going to browse and type in hero. If I can actually type. Here's my hero class, right? Here's my default package, and I press OK. Okay, so this is cool. My new class is called villain. It's based off the hero superclass, right? I don't need this. Do I need my constructor, though, from the superclass? Let's click yes for now. We may not need it right now, but let's put it in anyway. And do I want to generate comments? I don't think so. Let's just leave it and press finish. All right, well, let's take a look. Look, this is cool. So I'm using the extends keyword, which is exactly the same keyword we're going to use in JavaScript, by the way, when we make JavaScript classes. The extends keyword to extend hero, right? So villain has the same stuff as hero, right? But we're going to give him an extra method that the hero doesn't have, right? Because the villain is an evil guy, right? What does he do? He steals, right? So we're going to make it like this. We're going to say private. We're going to give him a private method, or sorry, a public method. Private, I'll be okay. Private, public methods, right? So this is where the public method's going to be. And my villain is going to steal, right? So he steals. So we're going to say public void steals, because he's stealing. He's thieving things, right? And we're going to just do that. System, if I can type, .out.println. Man. So I'm not typing it properly. There we go. We also have a name, right? So we still have this .name because he's inherited, and through inheritance we inherit all the classes and all the methods and properties of our superclass. Our superclass is called hero. When I extend or when I inherit from the hero class as a villain, I used to be a hero, now I'm a villain, right? Now I'm a villain. I'm going to still keep the same properties that are available to me in the hero class. I inherit those things. Okay, so that's cool. And I'm going to say my hero name, this guy, steals, is stealing. Why not? We'll put that in as a steal-in, right? And that's the only method we're going to add for him. Everything else remains the same for now. So we got two classes. Here in my project, I'm going to create a new, instantiate the villain. Right? I'm going to call this villain, and we'll call this guy in lowercase villain, right, is equal to new villain, if everything goes well. And my villain needs, a guy, we're going to call him the slime man, right? And you know what? Villain, what does he do? He runs a lot, right? And the villain, he steals, right? Let's show those abilities, man, right? So we can show the abilities of the villain. And remember, we never defined show abilities or run in the villain class because the villain class is a subclass of the hero superclass, which means we inherit, we are able to use all the methods and properties of the superclass, its parent class, if you will, inside the new villain subclass. Make sense? These are things we can all understand. We play a video game, even though we're playing a video game and we have an avatar and it's a hero, our villain is similar to us, isn't it? Like we're still fighting somebody, especially if he's up to, at our level, we're fighting someone that's almost as good as we are. Okay, so this is it. Let's run this thing. If everything goes well, if we can run this thing, we're going to have both outputs for the big man and the slime man. All right, so my big man is fighting. My big man is running. Okay, he's running after the hero, or the villain. His strength is 37. His speed is 96. He's faster. He is faster than our villain. Our villain's got speed of 91 and a strength of only 18. Right, but he's definitely weaker. Right, he's a weaker, and but he's stealing. He's stealing. He's going to get caught.
Could you show me the instantiate villain?
Sure. Make sense? Hero, villain, slime man.
Where are you calling generate abilities for the villain? In the constructor?
And actually, the generate ability is happening here in the hero constructor class, in the constructor part of the hero.
Okay, so when you just because it's part of hero, then it automatically is false.
Think about the hero as our blueprint.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm breathing life into the hero, and everything I define for the hero, his generate abilities, his show abilities, his running, and his fighting, are all part of this of the methods and properties that can be used. That's what we say when we inherit them. Well, you can use them in the villain class, even though we don't have to redefine them. Make sense?
I'm getting some kind of error.
Come on.
I don't know.
All right, we're gonna go back around when we take a break, and I'll come and see your error. Maybe your buddy can help you next to you. Take a look. Right? Come on. Yes, you can. All right, this is cool. I'm gonna update my team here by making a commit. And in here, I'm gonna say added a villain class and instantiated a new villain. And I'm also going to do a push. I'm going to say team pushed upstream. Did you guys get that? What I did? Anyone have a question about what I did? Not understand what I did? All right, it's pretty straightforward. This is stuff that we should all know when we do inheritance. Right? Let's talk about that a little bit though. Because we did it, but we haven't really talked much about it at all. And I think it's time we actually had a conversation around, hey, what is inheritance anyway? Let's define that a little bit more. So we're talking about inheritance, and we're talking about why we have to understand how to use it to develop new classes. That's what we're doing, using existing classes. We're using the extends keyword. We need to know how to use the protected keyword and the super keyword, which we've already used. And we have to learn about the methods of class object and the direct or indirect superclass of all classes. So remember, we have to talk about these things because when there's some methods that we don't use that are part of all objects that we can always use through inheritance. So again, we did this already. We said a new class is created by acquiring an existing class members and possibly embellishing them with new or modified capabilities. Hey, we're making the villain, right? And we can save time by basing new classes on existing classes. Right? So that's what we're doing here. And we're defining this new subclass, this villain, that's what we made, off of the superclass, which is the hero. Right? And sometimes we call inheritance specialization. So a villain then, if you think about it, in this type of scenario we've created, is a specialized kind of hero. He's the anti-hero, right? He's the hero that's gonna in his story, he's the hero, right? Because let's face it, guys, right? We're all the hero of the story, even when we do bad things, right? Because in our mind, right, in our story, in my story, the sky is Tom, right? That's what the color of the sky, right? It's Tom. And in Matt's story, the color of the sky is Matt. It's all about Matt, right? And the same thing goes with all of us. We're all about ourselves, right? So in this particular case, and I'm talking a little bit abstractly here, right? When we talk about story, but in this case, it makes sense. The hero, he is the archetype, if you will, and the villain is a specialized form of him, an anti-hero. Specialization. Again, the direct superclass is the superclass from which the subclass explicitly inherits. In this particular case, the hero is the direct superclass, right? The indirect superclass is what? We have the object class. That's the indirect superclass of all classes. So when I give you a test and I say, what's an indirect superclass? It means that it's a superclass that could be on top of the hierarchy, as you go higher up on the hierarchy. For example, we're going to make another class, right, from the hero class. We're going to call it Vigilante, right? So he's not quite a hero. He's not quite a villain, right? He's in between. He's like a daredevil, right? Or he's like a Punisher. He's not like a Superman. And he's definitely not a Dr. Doom, right? He's somewhere in the middle, right? A vigilante, right? And a vigilante is like, can we inherit from the villain? We could probably inherit from the villain because a path for the vigilante could have been that he once was a villain, right? And we could inherit from the hero directly. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a subclass of the villain class, and we're going to call him vigilante. And so now, what's the direct superclass if we made a vigilante class? The villain, the direct superclass. The indirect superclass is the hero, and the indirect superclass is the object class, which is the indirect superclass for all classes, right? It says Java supports only single inheritance in which each class is derived from exactly one direct superclass. Multiple inheritance, the problem with multiple inheritance is you have these class fragments. And some other languages allow you to inherit different piece parts from other classes, but not so in Java, which is okay. Actually, it's good, very easy to learn in that way. Okay, I'm not going to talk about that or this. I don't know why it turned out like that, or this. What's going on? How come? It's ugly. All right. Why? I don't know what happened here. It's probably when I converted it, guys. Let's go back. Wow, I totally got messed up with that one. Everything was fine, and now it's not fine. We're going to fix that up. Not a problem. So let's go back to our example. So we said that we're going to create a vigilante. Again, think about this from a keyword perspective, right? We've got our hero class, we've got our villain class, and now we're going to create a vigilante class, right? So this is multiple levels of inheritance here, right? So how am I going to do that? I go to my source, I go new, I go class. We'll do it again, right? And I'm going to type in vigilante. I think it's spelled vigilante, like this, right? Vigilante class. I don't want to inherit from my object class. I want to choose something else. So this time I'm going to choose my villain class. Here's my villain class. Right, my villain package. The reason why I want to inherit from my villain class is for one reason. I want him to have the ability to steal at times, right? which the hero doesn't have. The hero has the ability to fight and run, but he doesn't have the ability to steal because he's a hero. The villain has the ability to fight and run and steal, right? And the vigilante, we're going to give him even more specialized abilities. Not only can he steal, right? But he's going to be able to assist, right? The hero or the villain. He can do bad things. He can steal if he wants to. He can assist the hero and he can assist the villain. So let's do that. We want to inherit the constructors from the superclass, and we're going to press OK. Finish. So here's our new class, and if you notice, it extends from the villain class. So again, public class Vigilante extends from the villain class. In this particular case, when we do this, we can kill this stub. We want to create a new method. One thing we want to do is want to call this the constructor again. I don't know if I do that for the villain, right? Constructor. Again, all I'm doing is annotating here to show you what the constructor looks like. Where is the constructor? We're not changing anything in the constructor right now. And you know what? We're going to make a new public method. And what you guys come up with it? What is a good thing that a vigilante can do that a hero can't do and a villain can't do? He can go outside the law to do what though?
Find information.
Justice. He can deal justice, right? Like Judge Dredd or Punisher, right? So public methods. He can deal justice. The hero can't deal justice, and neither can the villain, right? So deals justice. There we go. Actually, I think I want to play a vigilante. That's what I want to play, right?
Quick question.
Yo.
So because we've extended the villain, we don't have to put public void steals into the vigilante?
We do not.
Because we are at.
Correct.
Okay.
Everything that we already have inside the, we already have everything from the hero and the villain class. Okay, so here's the deals justice, right? Yeah, he's dealing justice, baby. So system.out. Why am I getting issues here? Print line. And we'll say, it's giving me an error, which it shouldn't.
Capital S.
That's why. This dot name is dealing justice with a capital J, baby. Right? And we're going to basically have a plus sign there, or else it's not going to work. Right? Capital S for the system. And everything's working, right? So dealing justice. He's dealing justice, baby. All right? And when we're dealing justice, right, it's because the villain and the vigilante, again, he's got the ability to do, he can steal, he can fight like the hero, but he can also deal justice, which the hero cannot do. The hero's got to give you he's got to give you to the cops to help for them to deal justice, right? He's got to, you got to see the judge. But the vigilante can be judge, jury, and executioner if it needs to be. How about killing? Can the villain can kill, right? The villain can kill. The hero really doesn't kill you, right? The villain will like imprison you, right? So now we're forming these new classes, and we're thinking. We're creating a new application, right? And it doesn't matter, by the way, whether we're doing this. I'm just going to add some comments here. Constructor. It doesn't matter whether we're doing this. In real time here, or whether we're doing it. It's really weird that my stuff got messed up. That makes me mad. I don't know what happened. So when I converted it converted my other thing. So it doesn't really matter. I want to go and modify my hero again, right? So my hero's cool the way he is. I like what he does, right? He can fight. He can run. My villain can steal. Right, and he can kill, right? So if my villain can keel, he can kill too. My villain can keel and kills. Oops. Why not? Put him in. System.out.println, and this dot name is going around killing, right? We don't know what he's doing, who he's killing, but he's killing somebody. Maybe he's killing something, right? All right. The idea here is it's just a paradigm for what we're doing. So now that the villain can kill, well, the vigilante can kill, no? Because the vigilante extends the villain class, right? He can also fight and run, right? The villain can run, right? And fight and steal. And he can also deal justice, which the villain cannot do because he's a specialized type of villain. He's a vigilante, right? But he can also kill. Okay, so now we're going to instantiate the vigilante. And by the way, I'm making it kind of standard here. So the vigilante class, and if I can't do it, I can use command space, oops, or sorry, control space for me. Here's vigilante. Right, new, control space, vigilante. Right, here's my name. My name is going to be called no, Miss Savage. Miss Savage. Because she's savage. Miss Savage, right? She's a Punisher type. She's a Punisher type. Okay, I'm getting an error. It says syntax error. Insert. Oh yeah.
You think I'm bad? You should see my wife.
That's right. She's the vigilante, right? So vigilante. You know what? We're going to make her run, because just like the hero and the villain, the vigilante steals. I want that to happen for sure. You know what? The vigilante deals justice. That's something the other ones can't do. And you know what? The vigilante is going to show the abilities. Show me the money. Right? There we go. And let's run this thing and make sure that it all happens the way we think it's going to happen. All right, so the big man is fighting. The big man is running. He's got 89 strength. He's like the Hulk. 36 speed. He's got a health of 37. The slime man is running. The slime man is stealing. He's got a strength of 32. He's weak. He's got a speed of 45. He's faster. He's running faster than the big man, right? Health is 91. He's strong. He's a fast guy, right? And Miss Savage is running. Miss Savage is stealing with the slime man, right? And you know what? But she's dealing justice because she's pretty strong, stronger than the slime man. Not as quite as fast, but she outsmarts him. And you know what? She's almost as strong and fat as he is.
She's stronger than him. She's just not as fat.
Not as fat. Not as fat and not as fast. Is that?
Can you go back to the quote?
Sure. So what I'm demonstrating here is that each class below, when we instantiate our hero, our villain, and our vigilante, each consecutive different class, our villain and vigilante, inherit everything from the hero, right? And yet have their own specializations, right? They have their own things that the hero cannot do, right? In the future, we might have something called the sprite class. A sprite class is a graphic object that shows off our sprite. But what if we wanted to change that sprite class to show our ship? And now we want to make it we're going to call this the player class. We can extend the sprite class in the same example to create a player subclass, right? That uses the sprite's methods and properties, special things that make a sprite a sprite, but it actually adds additional functionality like turning left and turning right, moving forward, firing, all that kind of stuff. So inheritance is super powerful, and this is the reason why we have classes at all. We're not just making classes for reusability. That's the first piece of the class, right? The first piece of object-oriented programming is reusability. I can make as many heroes as I want. I can create another hero right now. And instead of calling him the big man, I can call him the slime man, right? Or whatever. just like the villain. Or I can call him the speedy guy, you know, whatever, right? And speedy guy will be a hero, just like the big man. But he'll have his own properties, right? He'll have his own abilities, right? Separate than the other two. Yeah?
Actually, just kind of bringing that in, say that if we were to create, say, someone that is specifically speed, and if we're pulling, extending from, say, the hero class or any of them that has a speed value,
You could.
how would you make it so that you would affect the speed value but to be above 50 at all times?
Sure. So what you do is we create a subclass of the hero class. We call him the speedster.
Okay.
Right? Let's do it. So since you're asking.
Yeah, because we're calling a specific stat, but we want to affect it so that it doesn't go.
Yeah. So let's add a new class. We're going to go back to our source. We're going to go new. I like your thinking, right? We'll go do a new class, and we're going to call this class the speedster. Right? Speedster. And what we're going to do is we're going to keep on regenerating his abilities, right? Or we're going to add 50 to a maximum of 100, let's say.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's say to one of his abilities. Okay, let's do this. So speedster, we're going to go here. We're going to say to the because he's a speedster, we're going to extend the hero class. I'm going to type hero in here. Here's our hero class, right? I'm going to keep the constructor from the superclass. Create finish, right? So he's the same as everything else. He's the same as the hero, except, and I'm going to put in here some comments. So constructor. And by the way, we can create some really cool comments, a template for this stuff, so it always happens. Instead of me doing this over and over again, but I want to show it to you. And under the constructor, we're going to put in a new public method. Actually, shouldn't it be private? It should be a private method. We shouldn't have any control over it at all. Private method. Methods. And I think, to me, private methods and public methods, you should separate them. Some people like to put them jumbly together. Public methods and private methods all jumbled together. This way you know which ones are exposed and which ones aren't. Right? So my private methods are these. And I'm going to put in my private method, which is going to say, we're going to call it boost speed. Right? Boost speed. That's going to be my private method. And it's going to be private void. That's our private method. And inside there, we're going to say this dot speed plus equals to 50. Right? Now it says, it's giving me an error. And what's the error? It says, oh yeah.
So it has to be.
We can do this. This is good. This is a good thing. We're going to change the visibility of speed to protected. Okay, so this is good. This is exactly what I wanted to do. Thank you. So we have, originally our speed was private, and we can use a getter to see speed, the speed of the person if I want to, right? But what's the difference between private, public, and protected from an access modifier perspective? Yes?
Public can be accessed by any class.
Oh,
Private
yeah, go ahead.
can only be accessed from within the class, and protected can be accessed from within the class and its descendants.
And its subclasses.
Yeah.
So hero, because hero is the super class of all these classes, right? And I want my speed to be modified. Instead of private, I'm changing it to protected, and now it's available within my subclass, right? It's still private within the, so it's not exposed to the outside world, but only to subclasses. That's protected, okay? And that's a good fix. All right, so this is good. So I'm going to go back to my speedster class, and now I've done this. It's plus equal to 50. I got to make an if statement. If this dot speed, because we're going to test, right? We have to do if dot speed is greater than 100, right? I don't care if it's equal to 100, but if it's greater than 100, right, then this dot speed is equal to 100. So you can't go higher than 100. Okay? Does that satisfy your requirements? So it's a speed boost, or boost speed. And we're going to do that, we're going to actually call this thing right here in the constructor. Because it makes sense, as soon as we create our speedster, inside our constructor, we're going to boost the speed. He's going to be faster than normal. Okay, this is cool. Similarly, we can make like a strongman, class, right? So here's our speedster. I'm going to make another one, just because you've inspired me. And we're going to call this, you know, a strongman class, right? And we're going to base it off the hero class.
I lost Explorer on the left. What's that under?
Where?
The Explorer.
Oh, this?
Yeah, if you close Explorer.
Package Explorer?
Yeah, what's it under?
Package Explorer. It's under View, I believe. Window. Show View. Oh yeah, you'd have to reset your view because what you're doing is here's Package Explorer right here, and you have to kind of reset your view to the Java view, right? So you can set up your views and perspectives. Perspectives, you can actually create a new perspective, so it's like your own perspective. A perspective is almost where all the windows lie. You can arrange them so you create your own environment.
Well,
Right?
I like it when they float off screen, right? And I can just go and grab them.
Well, there you go.
I hit restore accidentally instead of the other one, and it kind of made it full screen. So.
Okay, so here's our strongman class. Our strongman class is very similar to our speedster, except instead of, I'm just going to go here, right, to our speedster class. Here's our speedster, right? I like boost speed, right? It's almost exactly like this, but I want to make it so boost strength. So I'm going to kind of come over here and kind of copy this here, and instead of boost speed, we're going to change this thing to say it's boost strength. And it's going to be this dot strength, and it's going to complain because it's going to say, hey, strength isn't thing. Well, a quick fix is to make strength protected, which is what we're going to do, right? There it is. So there's our boost strength, and our strength is plus equal to 50, right? And if this dot strength is greater than 100, well then this dot strength equals to 100. Now, here's a pattern that we're seeing, right? What would you suggest? And by the way, my question to you is this. Do I need to do this? Does this make strength, by the way? Boost strength. Do I have to put the this keyword in front of it? I can, right? Do I need to use this in strength, in front of strength? Let's see. I choose to. I'm being explicit. In fact, if anything, I think I want to make my speedster use this dot boost speed to specifically tell me that I'm doing that. I don't have to. It's just my coding style. It's inferred. But it'll save me trouble later. Okay. So I've got a speedster and a strongman. I haven't instantiated those guys yet. But let's go back to our project class. So I'm going to go back to our project, our main class. And instead of our hero, right, or our hero called hero, instead of him being a hero, I want to make him strongman, right? So I'm going to kind of go here and go strongman. And change this to strongman. Okay, here's our big man. Our slime man, you know what? He's a villain, right? And you can see where we're going here now, right? Because I've made two different kinds of heroes, right? I've made a villain that's kind of a generic villain. I've made a couple of specialized heroes, a strongman and a speedster, right? We could have a speedster villain too, right? Couldn't we? This is where we get into a little bit of trouble, right? How do we create our archetypes when we're creating our classes? Because, guys, this is the same problem we run into with larger applications. We sit there and go, well, you know what? This application, account manager, we could inherit from this application, which is accounting, you know, and we could, but meanwhile, we could also handle the application. This class could also come from the manager class, right? And so on, right? So we run into this trouble of saying, how do we want our superclasses and our inheritance to work? And by the way, in this particular case, I haven't instantiated a true hero class anymore. Let's try this and see what happens first. So I've got my hero. His strength is 100 because he's the big man. right? My big man's strength is 100 because I had 50. And chances are, with 50, he's always going to have 100 strength. Let's generate that again to make sure. Okay, there. So he was a weak guy, but now he's got 78 strength. He's definitely got over 50 strength every time, right? But he can't break 100 because when he goes over 100, it is 100. We try it again. Oh, there's 100 again, right? And the reason for that is because we've made him a strongman class. Similar so with the speedster. I haven't made him yet, but I could. So the example here is, so the difference between the protected keyword and the private keyword. It's important to know the difference, right? Again, private, just to reiterate, it's only for members or inside the class itself. Public, for anyone outside the class. Protected, for the class as well as its subclasses. Any class derived from it. Okay, let us pause here and take a little bit of a bio break while I go to the washroom and all that stuff. And then when we return, I'll have some questions for you.